Not all superheroes wear capes. Some wear wellies. Wellies.
Perfect. Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the James Conway Experience. This is a little bit different tonight, and forgive us. We are training in our new IT assistant. He is 13 years of age. That's Owen, Darren's son. So if we have little clips or anything, it's probably down to a technical difficulty. On Sunday, we are having a meet-up here on the farm to basically discuss kind of coming together as a group going forward with homesteading and trying to navigate our way through globalism a little bit, to have our own food and our own meat and have a network of people who, are all engaged in doing that kind of thing. And then we're hoping to have multiple farms around the country who are all singing off the same hymn sheet. It's something I've thought of for a while, but I'm kind of striking the anvil on it now. Something that me and Darren have discussed, and there was other attempts to try and get something like this off the ground, and weren't successful, you know. And
definitely not.
Darren, I'm sure you have plenty of questions to ask me why I'm trying it.
Well, I suppose I do, and I don't know. I got your text.
Yeah, that's the way I do it. Everyone got my text.
Apparently so. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
I read it and I was like, oh, here's one of his harebrained ideas. I'll talk to him later on that. And then I find out, no.
I do. I do this quite often, so I do. Some of them work, so they do. But yeah. So, I'll tell you, Darren, would you do me the honour, please? We're going to present this at the meeting on Sunday, so I've just wrote down an outline for the meeting. I'd read it, but I can't see the bottom half at the moment with the...
Sure.
Yeah, fire ahead there.
So, welcome to everyone, and we'll put this up on the screen as well. We'll take a photo of it and put it up. So, the purpose of today's meeting, to create a fundamental group to work towards being a parallel society protected from the consequences of globalism. So, that's a nice kind of summary of it all in a nutshell. So, you have some goals to have keystone farms and areas for gathering across the country, to create skills exchange program, to create your own cultural icons and heroes, to produce good quality chemical-free produce and meats, to plant where we can, perennial fruit and veg, bushes and trees, to create and run courses nationally on all aspects of homesteading and personal preparedness, to re-establish the skills of hunting and fishing, to promote artists of all descriptions from the movement, that a premises hosts a gathering each season for the benefit and promotion of the group, that pride is taken in everything we do, how we present ourselves, the food we produce, and the premises, tools and facilities we use.
You've done very well there, because my handwriting is absolutely deplorable.
Yeah,
so
and the wheel of the bicycle is in the way as well. But no harm.
Well, there we are. No, you've done very well, because I know for all of you unemployed English teachers, you'll have such fun with the spelling in that too. So you will. I tried my best, but I'm able to read it.
I think that two kithogs actually is.
Oh, that was a divil, because when you're going across, you're actually wiping out what you wrote.
Yeah. It's like using the wet ink pens in the school years ago.
No, I hated them. I got what's it called? It was a pen for that exact purpose. No smudge or something.
Okay.
I think it was for left-handed people. I don't know that they still do them. They were a great job, though.
Yeah.
When I was in secondary, I had it, and I found it pretty good. So Do you want to ask me? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
what?
I know.
Yeah.
In fact, right. Okay. So I wasn't sure. Like for me, when I read it, I was like, "Geez, we've been there and done that." And like when we brought
Yeah.
the homesteader Thule here,
Yeah.
that was kind of part of the intentions.
Yeah.
And we tried to get people kind of in on it. And geez, the whole, even PR will tell you the winter that we spent on Off-Grid Ireland trying to get people connected and together and
Yeah.
pull funds together and maybe buy a plot together. And I mean, there was, I don't know, maybe it was just kind of maybe the whole lockdown thing was kind of finished at that stage. Kids were going back to school. There was a sense of normality returning.
Yeah.
And maybe people thought, nah, it's,
I just think at the moment, I think things are in a little bit of a different place with Trump taking over in America. They seem to
that
have.
happened yesterday, was it?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did that go? 'Cause,
I enjoyed it. I think he's going to do. I think he's going to be very good for America. I think he's going to be absolutely horrific for Europe.
Right.
That was my taking of it.
Yeah.
I think we're at a moment in time now where if you throw it out to people and say, listen, you need to get skilled up pretty quickly. This is going off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
And you need to be ready in some capacity. So I threw it out to the world. I got a ferocious response. How many people turn up on Sunday?
Yeah.
Don't know. So what are we on today? Tuesday, is it?
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday, I feel like it's later in the week. I got so much kind of fucking through shit already.
Yeah. You've been flying it lately.
Um,
I think what's it called? Hopefully there's a nice crowd at it.
Yeah.
It's one of those. If 10% turn up, I'd be kind of like, oh, that's good.
yeah.
Um,
I suppose it's as well to clarify what it is, and that list there says a lot more than what I kind of got from your text,
Yeah, I was a little bit coy in my text though, and I don't mind talking about it too much because this will be after the meeting, But I suppose in the text I kind of directed it towards the, what would we call it, right-wing movement, is it?
I saw that word mentioned 2 or 3 times, and that threw me as well. I was like, "Oh God!"
Well, you see, my fundamental,
What do you call it?
Well, this is it. My fundamental thing is you have like we have this friend network that was anti-lockdown, and then kind of anti-government interference, anti-corruption. All of these things.
Yeah.
And if you stick anti in front of it, usually what you're called is a right-wing fascist. So I says, well, listen, we're all being called the right-wing movement, so may as well embrace it. And, I just put it out to all of them and says, this marching up and down and protesting is
Waste of time.
it's a complete it's a waste of time.
It is.
Clonmel is happening. Ballina is gone. I have my own personal experience with trying to prevent this stuff. Pointless, absolutely pointless. The vast majority of Ireland seems to be fully on board, or they don't care. And this is my thing, kind of putting it out to the people who have seen what's happening and kind of know where it's leading to say, I get off the bus at this stop. Thanks very much. I tried my best to warn all of you, but it's obviously not. It's not going to work. So, as I says, parallel society.
Well, it is, and like we've discussed that, the other thing is, like, it is 2025. We don't know what's coming, really. We know we're at the end of one crisis and the other one is about to kick off. If that's
Well, I had awful fears about these weeks of pandemic.
Yeah.
I really thought that was on the cards, but that seems to have cooled a little bit. Thank God.
It does. Yeah.
So.
And we had a few of them, I suppose. It was probably the timing of it. Like, we had the monkeypox thing. We thought that might be the next thing. Then we had another, was it Siberian virus or something it was called.
Bird flu, then everyone was really worried about that.
That's right. Yeah. And then we have the foot and mouth in Germany.
Yeah.
So, look, all of that is actually still there.
Yes, playing quietly in the background.
It is. And, as far as I know, a lot of these countries now have signed up to the WHO pandemic preparedness kind of thing. So
Trump got rid of that yesterday.
right,
I was like, what a day for America. They basically signed out of the WHO, signed out of the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay.
Yeah, he done a lot the first day.
Yeah.
He done an awful lot the
he had
first
over
day.
100 things to sign in, I think, didn't he? As
Yeah.
in- yeah.
Yeah. Look, it seems fairly clear to me that America has abandoned this kind of, we'll say, left-wing environmental stuff.
Wokeism.
Yeah. Look, at some of the environmental stuff, I'd be concerned if I was an American.
Right.
You know, there is probably a place to say you can't dump shit in rivers. Do you know what I mean? And I know,
Is he leaning back a bit on the whole homesteading side of things? And
yeah,
on the
yeah. No,
self-product, you know.
I watched a fantastic interview today with Joel Salatin and Robert F. Kennedy, and they were basically talking about why are we coming down so hard on small local abattoirs.
Yeah.
Why are we coming down so hard on small producers? They seem, and as well as that, I think there's been a lot of promises made to the Amish community, who are vital if you want to win Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's their gig. They're family producers. They produce mostly organic, and they seem to have been won over by Trump, who seems to be kind of just promising them, listen, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to be hounding you. And
Good stuff.
here,
Yeah, I was just going to go there.
look at we could be lucky. The vast majority of this independent working group that's propping up the government now are from rural backgrounds.
Right.
I think that's positive.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of people who think,
What
listen,
working group is that?
so Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil will make up the government, and then there's I think it's the Rural Independent Group or something along that lines that will be propping up the government, and then the two Healy Rays. I don't think we're going to face much difficulty homesteading.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I think there is going to be a world of pain for people who are about to lose jobs.
Yeah.
I
And
really
that's
do.
the thing.
200 or 300 jobs gone this evening in Wexford, financial company.
I wonder what the crack ever happened with Facebook that time.
Oh no, that's it's either the 10th or the 20th of February.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Across the board layoffs. Most of those American companies are going to be restructuring or bringing jobs home.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of people who are, how do I say it, unprepared for what's about to occur. The way the government will present it is Orange Man bad, do you know?
Yeah.
The reality is we've had a couple good years here where a lot of money was made from corporation tax and that, and we've decided to squander it on an immigration policy that's frankly ridiculous. And
Now, when I talk to the normie, I suppose, or the everyday guy, and I say that, they tell me, no, everyone thinks that, but we're not paying for it. You know, it's the government or it's Europe that's paying for it. Europe is giving the money to Ireland. It's not coming out of our coffers.
yeah.
Now, what I read last year was we got a few $100 million from Europe, but we spent
Billions.
billions literally on it.
No,
So,
we are
like,
we are paying.
we are paying.
There is a contribution, but it's marginal to say the least. Now, what a lot of people should be saying is, you know, it's actually not the Irish taxpayer paying for it. Now, this might give me a second here. It's the corporation tax that's allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have been watching Trump's Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. I sent all the material to John Waters and a few other people like that. And yeah, he knows Ireland inside out.
Yeah.
He knows the game, and he's going to finish the game.
Right.
You know, and that's in Trump's inauguration speech when he was talking about bringing billions back from.
It's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's coming from somewhere.
And basically what he mentioned was, you know, other countries have been playing games with America, and he's going to put an end to that. Now, he'll probably start with Canada and Mexico. tariff-wise. And then I imagine he will move on to probably China, BRICS. Ireland will be got to,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it is that unemployable thing, really, because, like, I mean, all of these jobs as well, you do wonder, okay, if they're not going back to America, they're being replaced by AI. So
Yeah.
one way or another,
Yeah.
they're not going to be here, you know. And
You know, there's the amount of copism and denial that's over AI at the moment is,
yeah,
frankly, it's hilarious
It
to be
is.
honest.
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah,
You have so many, oh, it's not.
it's only a fancy search engine,
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
no, this thing it's growing exponentially.
Yeah, they
you
don't
know.
realize what is actually behind it.
No,
you know.
no.
It's,
And do you know a frightening aspect of it too?
because
is,
it does look very simple, and it looks, it's just a little box, and you know. But I mean, it's power behind it. What it can actually do is
well, if you're in a call center right now, forget about it.
yeah, that's right.
Do you know? I'm talking months, not years.
That's it. Yeah.
If you're someone who is a receptionist, something like that, you are on shaky ground. Yeah, journalism.
Yeah, like receptionist is another good one as well. Like COVID brought in a good bit of this kind of stuff, book online stuff for even a fucking hairdresser.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. Well, the other side of it too is you're getting to a place now where you can actually have, do you know, a language model speak to someone. So you can, and this stuff is going to be 20 quid subscription for the month.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
So if you're a small hairdresser or a beautician's or something, and you have Jennifer who's on, I don't know, 13, 14 quid an hour, and someone says to you, you know, we can replace Jennifer for 20 quid a month. How does that sound to you?
Yeah.
Sounds okay to me. I don't like it, but there's another aspect to this that, you know, in 2008, when a lot of men that I looked up to lost their jobs on the buildings, and that they were told, learn to code, bro.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, learn to weld, bro.
Well, yeah. And you see, I do see the benefit, okay? Like the training courses, there is a lot of people, as I said to you, that put on a white shirt and gel the hair.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
you know.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they're 15, 20 years in a job now. They got nothing more than maybe a nice front lawn and a few bits and pieces like that.
Yeah.
But, wouldn't know how to use a shovel.
Well, you see, this is all part of it, and I don't want to be alarmist, if you get me. Basically, what I'm saying to people from within the movement that I know, who I've met at protests and things like that, is to say, listen, this is where this is headed.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to engage in something that you can kind of step away from that, we're going to try and offer it. But there's a lot of people who are in total denial about what's to occur. And to be honest, I'm sick and fucking tired of trying to wake them people up. I don't care anymore. I really don't.
That was my kind of thing when I saw what you're at as well. Is kind of like, you know, we've tried, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But again, the other side of it is, like, I was listening to you then on the off-grid chat, and someone was like, well, you know, at least if you go down there, you know, if shit royally hits the fan, you'll have a plan B and somewhere to go.
No.
Just to clarify, that's not what's on offer.
No.
You know, like,
what's on offer is, listen, while times are good, we can learn how to grow things, we can learn new skills, all of that. My place, if fucking shit goes off the fan, I'm up there with a 22 rifle. That's it. You're not going to be here. You know, I have my core group, yourself, a few people from around. That's it.
Yeah.
Do you know? And that's the tough reality. And I'm not going to
for everybody. So what is on offer is to skill up so that if shit hits the fan,
you know,
you have some ability.
Yeah. You know my system, which is, you know, there's laying hens, there's pigs, there's a garden every year.
Yeah.
I'm on about just ploughing a bit extra.
Yeah.
That's all, you know, to show people to, you know, this is how you do spuds, all the rest of it. my family will be provided for as always.
Yeah.
You know, this is really just to show you extra. And as I says, then there's the kind of element of, you know, our movement after 5 years hasn't one picture or anything in the country. So I was saying, let's do a mural with a character from the movement and get his or her. Well, we have picked who it is, and it's a good character from the movement. Get him there. Let's show people what can be done. But like what someone says on the off-grid, well, oh yeah, sure, if the shit hits, we'll go down to Conway's or that.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Although, what I would say is, you know, to anyone, if I have something to spare, I'll share it.
That's it.
No, absolutely no problem with that. But
you don't sacrifice your own.
Oh, no, not at all. No.
And that's it.
No.
Yeah.
I'd be straight and honest with that, you know.
Yeah. Good stuff. And are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. The reception to it has been really good.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised myself.
Can't get over it myself.
Yeah.
Can't get over it myself. But then there's another element of it that I'm sure some of the people that's messaging are thinking that you're going to have a meeting in their back garden next week, you know, and it's like one person in particular says, oh, that's, you know, a hell of a drive for me. And I went, well, to be honest, I don't care.
Yeah.
Do you know, if you want to come. It's absolutely no skin off my ears.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't want to sound like a dickhead about that.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, I'll be doing nothing different to what goes on each year, except to show people, you know, this is what you can do.
Yeah.
And if you give me a hand, you can have some nice food at the festivals and stuff, you know, which is, you know, I want to have a few meetups this year. But what I'm hoping is that I'm hoping a lot of the things that are going to happen, we as a group can kind of circumnavigate. And instead of being alarmed by what's happening, kind of say, yeah, I kind of knew that was about to occur, you know. And I will be encouraging people to prep.
That's it.
I'll be encouraging people, you know, you need to have long-lasting food in stock.
Yeah.
You know.
Common sense kind of stuff, or stuff that we're kind of at anyway.
Yeah.
But like, again, see, it is that country living thing. Do you know, like, I mean, before any pandemic ever hit, I mean, come October, you were always buying them extra few bits. You were always gathering them extra few bits. There was always that thing of, well, if we have a first bad week where we can't even get out, or where, you know. That,
well, it's a mindset as well that some people in the cities mightn't be overly familiar with. Is, you know, we cut our turf in the springtime, we save them in the summertime for winter.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, if you have a central heating on gas, well, what do? You make sure it's paid and you hit the switch. Whereas we kind of have a mentality of the seasons where you're getting ready for the year, for the winter. Yeah. You know, you're prepping every year for the winter.
It's all about that.
Yeah. So you're cutting the silage for winter, do you know?
It. Yeah. Once March starts, it's another season. It's kind of get everything ready, get ground ready, you know.
Well, like what I've put down here, which, you know, PR is on it, and David Riley's on board with it and that as well. And I've basically said we should be aiming for a little gathering on Paddy's Day. And, you know, Paddy's Day classically is when you're planting, you know, you're starting to plant some of the crops and that. And I was like, yeah, we'll have a little get together for that as a group. And what I'm hoping to do is have a few things done for Paddy's Day. You know, a wall plastered and a mural of this character done on it. A more permanent honesty box for selling the produce to the community. And then a little unit for doing the composting for the garden, because if we're extending the garden, we're going to need a little bit more composting going.
Okay.
And then I have all the plans for the Joel Salatin mobile.
The book?
Yeah. And, you know, show people how to make these mobile pens, how to make mobile rabbit pens. And, you know, you don't need big areas of land to do this. Yeah. So if I show them here, well, this is how you make it. What I'm then hoping is that they remember that and they go, oh, yeah, I can do that. You know, I can raise so many chickens in my area and
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, look, it's a good way to network. A lot of people out there, they probably do have the half-acre site. It's a big lawn at the minute. You know, they never had to have anything else in it. Used to have the old swing set and all that kind of shit. And they have, I'd say a lot of people will be amazed at what you can knock out.
Well, you see, Ireland is a fairly unique case. You know, when it comes to beef, we're probably exporting 70% of what's killed in the year, you know, so we're beef sufficient, sheep sufficient too, as far as I'm aware, probably pork sufficient. But when you get into things like fruit and veg, no, we're way back. Do you know?
We are, and you also have to remember though, okay, so like, we might be beef sufficient, but the guys selling the beef for export, they have contracts.
Oh, and the point about it
And
is,
the thing is,
if they're willing to pay for it in France, you're not getting it in Ireland.
that's just it.
You
And
know.
if there's a contract saying that so much is going over here and so much is going over there, I mean, like the consequences of letting that contract go will be something severe as well. You know,
Well, it's not.
penalties and that kind of stuff. So
It's not even the contract. It's just supply and demand. If you have a country that's going very well and they're willing to pay a premium for Irish beef,
Yeah.
they don't care if Irish people gets it.
that's it.
You know,
Yeah.
they don't care.
No.
Like if you woke up tomorrow morning and all of a sudden Irish beef was a trend in China,
Yeah.
well, you're dealing with 1 billion people who want the product.
Look, it's like the Irish butter that became a trend, putting Irish butter into coffee.
Yeah.
Became huge in China and Australia and a few other places. And the price of butter really did soar after that as well, you know.
Yeah.
And it's still quite high actually. So
Well, you see, this is one of the aspects of globalism that they really don't talk about, is that, you know, you're competing with a global market for your own produce.
yeah.
You know, if Tommy down the road has 10 cattle and he used to kill a weanling and a couple of the neighbours used to get a bit of the weanling and that, well, all of a sudden, if he can bring that to the mart and get twice the price, he's not worried about you.
That's it.
You know, and this is, I suppose what I'm trying to get through to people is, I can see meat going this way,
Yeah.
you know.
And then with everything else that's going on, I mean, there is a big push for the reduction of the herd.
The herd is reducing.
Yeah.
Year on year. And sheep
absolutely.
meat is back as well.
Yeah.
So,
And that was always a big export market, more so, was it?
sheep, yeah. You have England and France would be your biggest markets for it. There's another side to that, though, is like Europe at the moment is declining very quickly. You know, Germany at the moment, you have airfields filled with new cars, new electric cars that were destined for America and these places. And then with the strike of a pen yesterday, he got rid of the subsidy.
Okay.
So now if you're buying the car in America, an electric car, that no subsidy for you.
Yeah.
So, like, what he said was,
By the looks of it, petrol's going nowhere, is it?
oh no, he's basically said that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in America.
Yeah.
I just think we're left on a trajectory here where you have these lifelong politicians who have said, this is the way it's going, this is the way it's going. And now all of a sudden, he's came along and said, no, that's not the way it's going. Because as he said himself, we're sitting on more oil and gas than anywhere in the world. So why would we stifle ourselves for, you know, what you perceive as environmental benefit, you know? Yeah, it's a strange time, so it is. The other side of this as well is, you know, some of the bullet points there, you can throw them to me.
Yeah. So the skills exchange program, like that,
Yeah.
that's one I think that is actually something. So basically what you're suggesting there is, let's take a wall, let's get 10 lads down.
Yeah. I have fellas who've got in touch with me. They're saying, listen, I'm 36, I'm from here, I'm a block layer, no difficulty showing how to lay blocks, but I'd like to learn about plant and veg.
Okay.
And basically what we do is we give them a project to display their skills And then in return for that, someone else who has the skills of, you know, the likes of Wolf, he can show them, well, this is when you plant this, and, you know.
Yeah.
And it's really that straightforward. It's people who have skills, learning new skills, and then it's really for the benefit of the person who has very few skills.
It really is.
You know, that's who really benefits from this, you know.
And again, it's probably a good social kind of way to go about things as well, and you get to know people, and you know, a lot of us have kind of heard each other online, and it was kind of like the Hooli, you know.
Yeah.
Knew these guys for over a year, never got to meet them, and of the weekend, and you know, 100 or more down, and you kind of put faces to names, and kind of get to know what people are about, and.
It was great to see.
Because I think there is a lot of loneliness out there as well. I think there's a lot of people listening in on this kind of crack online and that kind of stuff, and really they don't actually have anyone around them to actually be able to express what's going on, or...
You know, and I think Morris hit on that in the first podcast, or that, you know, myself and Morris just chat on the phone. And it's lovely for the two of us because you're talking to someone who's kind of on the same wavelength, you know, on the same kind of intellect level as well, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm kind of hoping from some of these weekends, is that, like, if you're, you know, if you're down your local and everyone is talking about, you know, the football match at the weekend or who won in the darts, and you're there sitting thinking, I wonder, did anyone know what happened in America this week?
Yeah.
Well, at least if you go to this, there'll be someone who's going, what did you reckon he done here? And, you know, it's not every pub you can go and have a chat about geopolitics, you know, and that's what we're hoping for, is to have, you know, like-minded people like that, you know.
Good stuff. And hunting and fishing is another mad one, all right. Yeah.
It has to come back.
It has to come back, yeah.
You know, I like fishing, so you do. What's it called? We have to teach skills that people have forgotten.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll do that quietly. And then the hunting as well as...
Yeah, that's it. And trapping maybe, and that kind of stuff.
Well, that's
know?
what...
yeah.
And, you know, it's not just, how do I say, Irish people... You know, native Irish people who I'm offering this to. There's an awful lot of Eastern Europeans and that who are really, really intelligent when it comes to trapping and stuff like
Absolutely.
that. And,
yeah.
You know, I have Polish
And
mates
awake,
and that.
you know.
Oh, and fully awake.
You know, like,
fully
I mean, in fact, I remember David, the Chariot, he was kind of getting his political party together, and you needed signatures, you know.
Yeah.
And I believe he turned around and says, actually, only for, you know, the foreigners living in the country, we wouldn't have made the numbers. Do you know what I mean? The amount of Polish and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Look at that good guy. What's his name, Owen, that goes around with the camera? The Polish lad. I'm awful with names. Can you remember? Philip, no. But he's a good guy. And, like, again, he's Polish. There's a lot of them that were at the early protests as well. They were like Germans and all sorts, and you know, and
but like there's a load of people living in Ireland now who have lived 40, 30 years in Ireland, have been members of their community and all that. And I used to hate this kind of thing at some of the protests where people were like, the foreigners out and all this.
Yeah.
You know, the guy who done, you know, the plugs here and that for us, you know, he's one of my best friends, but he has an English accent. I don't hold it against him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, you're an electrician. I get on well with you.
Yeah.
You bought a house here. You paid taxes here.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's it.
You know, there's a massive difference between that kind of immigration and then, you know, a hotel filled with refugees.
And
you know.
some of the, I suppose, would you say, nationalist or right-wing kind of movements out there at the minute, they seem to they do seem to be this whole kind of purely Irish, you know, and I don't know where that's going to go.
No, it's not going to go anywhere. You know, what do you do then with someone who had two Irish parents and was born outside of the state?
That's
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
You know, what is he? You know, My
As
thing.
you said in one of the podcasts, like, if my granny is Scottish, does that mean I'm going to get kicked out, kind of thing?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of ridiculous, kind of.
Yeah, no, that's. I don't think that's leading anywhere, to be honest about it. I think what we have at the moment. Listen, the Irish government have basically shown us over the last 5 years or so that whatever the globalist agenda is, they'll go with it.
Yeah,
they're going to go with it. I think Trump is a beacon of hope with what he's done, but there's enough globalists still in Europe that we're in for a hard time, and we can circumnavigate that hard time by learning skills, having a network. Like, this is one of the things I'm kind of hoping to come out of this, is that in every county, if you have a plumber and you're in the group, that there's a plumber who's also in the group, that you have your tradesmen in your area that isn't going to rob you.
yeah.
They're kind of like, well, I'm going to meet Jenny at the next get-together. I mightn't pull the bloomers off her altogether. I might just say, give me 20 or 30 quid. It'll be all right, and I think that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
People meeting each other, people exchanging skills, meeting up, having a bit of food. Like,
That's it.
I want to have 4 events this year. Well, there'll be 5 now, which is this one, the meeting. But then around Paddy's Day, we're planting the stuff. Midsummer, there should be, 1 or 2 pigs ready. There should be chickens ready. We'll have the kind of homestead hoolie again. Then harvest time, a little bit of a Samhain meet up, autumn meet up then. And then at Christmas, I fully intend to have a lot of geese and turkeys ready at Christmas. And, I want people to be taking these animals and processing them themselves and getting back to basics and being like,
Yeah.
turkey at Christmas means turkey at Christmas.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean Tesco's at Christmas.
That's it, yeah.
And that's my angle.
And again, like, to prepare a chicken, there's not that much to it, or a
there's not.
turkey, there's not that
No.
much to it,
That's one of the things.
Done pigs now once or twice. How many times did we do pigs? Twice. And and went up to another guy once or twice to do them. And I still wouldn't be altogether confident. There's a bit of a knack to it all, and to be cutting around the tail and pulling it on the inside out, and.
But it's like, some of the people that are on, that work in meat factories and that. And when you're doing something day in, day out, you get very good at it.
That's it, yeah.
And like, I have a mate there.
It's like filleting the fish,
That's right.
Yeah.
If you're doing it every day, you get very quick at it, and it's easy. But, we can get... How do I say? That's one of the things I want for the group, is to have, a fucking visit to an abattoir and get people to realize, this is how it is. It's not pleasant. It's a job. It's a process. If you're efficient at it and you're good at it, then the welfare of the animal is pretty good.
Yeah.
But there's nothing nice about it.
Well, look,
it's part of farming. There's nothing nice about it.
Yeah, I suppose as well, back in the 70s and 80s, I mean, it was not unusual to have your own pig.
Yeah.
And to actually do your own pig, It kind of disappeared then, And I suppose everyone then kind of, there was a disconnect, because you're getting it in a package, it's there, it's lovely looking in a glass thing in a butcher's. But I mean, like, the truth of the thing is, it was a real fucking animal, it was reared, it was slaughtered.
Well, John Curley, when he was doing the plugs, was only on about that. He said, this local abattoir to here, I can't remember, was it East Kills or more West, but he basically said there was a field beside the abattoir, and you could see the animal that was going to be killed in a day or two. And he was like, you'd be looking across the wall and thinking, actually, I might go in and get chops in a day or two, because that looks like a good one.
You're right, okay, yeah.
So that's how people were observing it,
Yeah.
That doesn't exist anymore. It's, you get what you get. That's it.
Down there at the factory across from the graveyard, that used to be an abattoir.
In Eastkey?
No, down towards Inniscrone.
All right.
Imotech. I'm nearly sure that was an abattoir years ago before that.
Yeah.
So they were common enough as well. I see everything was local.
Well,
You
see, this is it, and it's
now
all...
you're hauling animals fucking everywhere for it, like.
Well, the fact that we have, a European Union who are on about carbon and then at the same time negotiating a deal to fly in beef from South America. It's farcical.
It is farcical. Look, the other farcical thing is that we have spuds on the shelves from fucking Spain and from,
Yes,
I
yeah.
mean, like what the,
Yeah.
mental really.
Well, you see, this is the trouble as well. And I know people talk about the famine times and the genocide and the whole lot of it. You had 8 million people living on this island. Before that, they weren't starving.
That's it.
They were alive.
Yeah.
And we might think, it was a very limited diet and all that. Was it?
Yeah.
Most houses had potatoes. They had the animals at that time.
Yeah.
They had the milk. You see, what happened was, because of one crop failure, everything fell like dominoes after that. You couldn't feed the animal because you had to have the crop yourself that was going to the animal. And then the English were removing crops from the country.
I was going to say exports didn't stall.
No, and you see, this is the point.
Yeah.
So if you take the years before then, you had 8 million people who were not starving and exporting.
Yeah.
So this is a hugely productive country.
Yeah.
If the ground is used productively.
Yeah.
And we've had government policy the last how many years that's basically encouraging people, block that drain, grow wilding.
Yeah. Asher, look at even with all the rain that's fell over this winter and the amount of rivers.
Yeah.
That they've stopped cleaning out rivers and dredging rivers and that kind of stuff as well. And they're causing havoc, kind of.
Yeah.
The amount of ground that's kind of. There's lakes where there was never fucking lakes now, and mad shit going on. Yeah. But good stuff. Yeah. And what's the crack then with the artist kind of side of things you've brought in?
Well, basically, we have plenty of walls here.
Yeah.
And we're just blank canvas. What we're saying to people is, the groups would like some artworks done to commemorate figures of Irish importance from Celtic times, Wolfe Tone, 1916 Rising, and I'd like women to get on board too. There's been some fantastic Irish women over the years, and
the other side of all of this is so I think anyone that's looking at this, they should look at it from a family approach. If they are a family man or a family woman, it is about doing it together and
that's
bringing
right.
everyone together, because canning is hugely important. Hydrating food is an easy thing to do as well, and it's a cheap way to go about it. Fermentation and all that kind of stuff, like Wolf with his eggs and that kind of thing, all easy done.
Yep.
That water glassing thing that I'm doing with the eggs as well, with the lime and the water. I mean, there's ways, with eggs you can have a surplus one week and you can be out another week and that kind of thing. So you can store these.
Lime water, the last, what is it, 8-9 months or that?
Up to a year, yeah. No, we've started using them, sound.
Yeah.
And the great thing with that is you can put them into bake, into your making breads, or you can fry an egg, or you can scramble an egg. It's not like you're boiling eggs and then storing them in vinegar or anything like that. So they're fully usable,
Yep.
Savage.
Yeah.
First and we're still learning a bit, and that's the first year I've done that now, and I've knew about it for a while.
Yeah.
So it's all about just taking action,
Well, that's it, exactly.
And saving it when it's there. Same with your berries and stuff, pick them, wash them, into the freezer with them.
Yeah.
They're there then, like your mother, geez, the amount of jam she can make at any stage,
it's outrageous. And as I says, and known for it, and that's one of the, I done the honesty box there, and Mum couldn't believe that people were buying it. She was like, but, that was because what Mam done was, picked a portion of all the berries that was available to her. We have a lot of blackcurrant bushes in Balnacar and that, and people were buying it. And one of the things though is the amount of waste when you don't have people for this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the apples. I do be disappointed at the apples because
pigs are great for the old apples.
Well, the pigs are mighty.
Yeah.
That's beautiful meat off them as well. So it is. But it's just. Get a group together, show them how easily it is to get something productive.
Absolutely, yeah. Simple things as well. Garlic is another great thing to grow.
Yeah.
No bother, handy enough, and
So useful.
I mean, the shite that there is in the shop is coming from China and it's bleached fucking white, and madness, like.
Well, it's like
And again, like as Wolf was saying, it's one of them things to have, and for the whole parasite cleanse and all that kind of stuff is actually a really healthy thing.
Yeah.
I know a woman, she used to eat garlic and raw onion daily, and honest to God, you'd never see her with a flu or a...
No, she wouldn't have one. She might smell a little bit if you were behind her for a while.
No doubt she would, but that wouldn't bother her.
Not at all, but you see, it's cleansing your system constantly, so it is, you know, and do you want to, have we any other ones there, and then we'll...
What have we left?
Because we're going to, what is it, record this, and then record a bit on Sunday, and then record a bit after, and then this will be put out on a Friday. So
probably something like that, so you're hoping, the whole other side of this is actually to get other people involved.
Yeah.
So around the country, few guys like the idea, have a bit of space, have a bit of ground, have the same mindset, and kind of make it a regional thing.
I am hoping that there comes on board some fellas who really want to just learn.
Yeah.
And when they've learned how to do the garden, how to make some of the pens for the broiler chickens, and that in their own area, they can teach it.
Yeah.
They can have their little place where people can pull in with their care. And that's it. It's just to learn how to do it and then do it.
Pay it forward.
And I hate saying it, but it's so straightforward. Do you know, like we have here now, we have the little outside kitchen done, little outside bathroom, a shower. Now, if you don't know any skills, that seems really difficult.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if one or two men know what they're doing, you could fire up a little cabin with a canteen area, a toilet, and a shower. No problem.
Yeah.
It's not a big thing to do. And, you know, for the likes of good, honest people, you don't need the container and what you see on the building site. You just need
expense. So, like,
you don't need it.
No, and absolutely not. And to be honest with you, go on there to fucking Facebook ads or whatever. There's people giving away toilets and I mean, like the hungry eye sees fire. You know, and if you can gather,
it's like where we are this evening, right? We're here doing a recording. This is a couch table.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's any different about it? It's been plastered. There's a bit of a ceiling done. It's not outrageous expense.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
And what I want to, it's the same as the kitchen here beside. Tiles off a job, cabinets out of a house.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
As long as you have an old plug to plug in a kettle and stuff like that, maybe a bit of a gas cooker.
Well, there's another thing, right? So, like, we can kind of, once, if this works out, I mean, there's skills again then that, okay, so you're sharing your skill set, I'll share a bit that I know or whatever, and everyone shares a bit. There's still stuff that we'd like to learn.
Oh, God, 100%.
Like, if you think about it, like, even, like a mate of mine now, and he's actually practicing quite regularly cooking on a flame, you know?
Yeah.
So he'll sit down and he'll light a fire outside and actually cook just using that flame, you know? I suppose water storage is another thing. Water gathering is another thing. Energy, you know, like if, you know, the whole, like we were talking about the hydroelectric thing.
Has to be done. Has to be done.
You know, and there's people out there with those kind of knowledge and has done it, you know, and and if they're listening and kind of come forward, like, and share what you know.
Like, how do I say it? We want to create a space here that's, you see, I hate using this because it's a fucking lefty term, but a safe space.
Yeah.
You know, what else do you call it? It's just a place where you can come and show off your skills and not feel like someone is going to be like, sure, look at your man splitting the block. Sure, I know how to split the block. It's literally, no, we don't want that. We want, people really want to know how you do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Or give it a go. You know,
Exactly.
split a few blocks and see what it's like, you know. Yeah. Or like you can have your splitting axe. We have one of them round things for the smaller ones, and you put it in and it sits nicely and tap and it just like splits out, you know.
Oh yeah, I've seen one of them. They're great jobs.
They're nice. I also have a diamond head kind of thing, and you put it right into the middle. So like there's more than one way to
Split a log.
Yeah, you know.
And then, like, one of the things I was thinking is
the crock is another thing, and that good job.
the timber crock is brilliant.
Yeah, mighty oak.
The guy who makes them, I think, does listen to these podcasts.
Go away, yeah. Well, I got one.
Brilliant invention.
Absolutely,
Absolutely
yeah,
brilliant invention. But yeah, and then another thing is the dolly for moving the chicken pens.
Yeah.
We have the diagram and cutting list and all of that, and it's just a matter of printing it out for you and handing it over and saying, you know, if you're a fabricator, you know, if you want to be making these, there is a market for them. Do you know?
And like we can share all this. We have that little community section on the Patreon.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's what I think we'll be doing that. So if anyone is watching on the YouTube, we'll probably be putting this mostly on the Patreon. The kind of days on the farm and stuff like that. I'll tell you why. It's for people who are serious to learn about this. We're not going to put it up on YouTube for kind of trolls and people like that to laugh at.
Look,
you know,
at the end of the day, it's actually becoming a little bit of a community over on the Patreon thing anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just to expand more on that. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's to keep it to like-minded people and people who have an interest. And, you know, it's easy to keep the trolls away with 2 or 3 clicks or a sign-up button or whatever else.
And I like the aspect of it too, though, Darren. I must say that if there's people around the place, we know the Patreon community, they're good people, they're interested in the podcast.
Yeah.
There's never anyone, you know, say, like, there's definitely positive criticism.
Absolutely.
And we don't mind that at all.
No.
But there's nobody saying, oh, look at your man, he's this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
You know, it's just people who are like, well, yeah, we'd like to listen to some conversations. We'd like to see what goes on. So,
that's it.
Yeah, we'll probably put a lot of the stuff up on the Patreon. So we will. So this will be on YouTube. So it will. Yeah. So this one will be released next Friday on YouTube and Patreon. But after that, most of what's going on is going to be on the Patreon channel. Yeah. You probably will see a bit of social media and stuff though from people
no
who are
doubt.
who are
sure it's all
attending.
welcome and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
That's it. Good stuff. Well, look, let's see what happens on Sunday.
That's it. So what
we'll
will
be just
seeing?
over Storm Owen.
Is it Owen, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. So what you'll be seeing next is recording from Sunday. So there'll be either a small crowd or a medium crowd or a big crowd. And it's not really going to matter which one it is. We're going to do the same thing, what we've said there, and hopefully everyone will enjoy themselves.
Yeah, and it is mainly just, Sunday is going to be a networking event as such. And bit of a tour, and here's what we're doing, and bang heads, come up with ideas, and
have some tea and sandwiches.
Yeah, good stuff.
Work is continuing to restore power to homes and businesses following Storm Éowyn. 154,000 customers remain cut off from the electricity grid around the country. That's down from a peak of 768,000. The European Union is sending 17 power generators to Ireland.
We did have everything yesterday.
No, you didn't. I have no power coming until the 5th of February. The only person that prepared for this in my home and in my village is the people
Here
who live
outside
there.
Ballyjamesduff in County Cavan are working through tough terrain to quite literally pull homes, businesses and farms back onto supply. The level of damage is said to be unprecedented.
In some instances, it's like we're starting from scratch. It's like the network is completely gone and it's not actually there anymore. It has all been knocked down. So it's like starting from scratch and rebuilding it from the very beginning. It's almost like from when we started having electricity in some areas.
Hey! Where the fuck, lads? Are you all alright? All alive?
Thanks everyone for coming. It's a horrible day, so fair play to you all for making your way. What we're wishing to achieve from this is wrote out here. The purpose of this is to create a foundational group to work towards being a parallel society, protected from the consequences of globalism. If any has a head, he'll realise that what's happening in Ireland is happening all over Europe, it's happening in America as well. It will have consequences. There is going to be a very serious economic downturn. If you take anything from today, you should have some form of currency that's tangible. That's silver, gold, or a commodity of some description. So if you run around this shed, you have a stockpile of timber, you have posts, you have cement. The cement goes off naturally enough, but you still have it. You have something that's tangible. I would really recommend silver or gold. You can buy that on a website called Bullion, Bullion, buypost.ie. So basically, if you have your wages, if you have a little bit to spare each week, you should be having something that's tangible. When the euro as a currency hyperinflates, as it will, you will have something that is tradable and tangible to have. So a parallel society is a society that works on its own away from the state. So it has its own capacity for food, its own capacity for social gatherings like what we're having today. There's no licensed premises here, there's no government influence, you're allowed to say what you think. I don't know about any now, but there's very few public places where you can say what you actually think left, because you end up being excluded from the group because people are content. They think this system is going to keep going. Unfortunately, it's not. We are going to try and come together as a group to create an alternative. Now, the idea is to start on this farm, then have a farm like this in one of, the 4 provinces. We already have the offer of one north and south at the moment. There is an offer as well as an area, but I'm not sure if there's land with it in Leinster, but it would be good to have social gatherings. Then from those 4 to move to 32. Each of the farms will be producing food for the membership of the group, and then excess food that's produced can be sold to the local community. I'm sure there's plenty here that if you said what you thought, you'd probably be described as right-wing. Right-wing is a silly term. It's a term that's put on anyone who doesn't agree with government policy. Now, the positives at the moment with regards to what's happening in America and Hungary and Poland and all these countries is they have stepped away from this kind of woke culture. They are going to move forward now over the next year or two. Unfortunately, Ireland is sticking with the programme, and we are going to suffer horrendous consequences for that. If you've seen what Trump signed into law the other day with regards to the tax, you're going to see an awful lot of jobs in this country that people think is safe and secure jobs disappear very quickly. So a big aspect of this is going to be the skills exchange. So blocklayers, plasterers, carpenters, we'll have them on site. They'll be able to show you if you don't know them skills yourself. They'll be able to show you how their jobs work and get some basic structures together for the keeping of animals. So I'll just move on. The goal is this: to have keystone farms and areas for gathering across the country. We've been through that. The skills exchange, That's the same thing. Stonemasonry, all of that, we want to get into it. Now, this is an important thing. To create our own cultural icons and heroes. There's an old saying, the Masons had it for years, we will provide you with your heroes. If you see someone on RTE being pushed forward as someone for the nation to follow, it's generally because they want you to follow that person for a reason. It's to your own detriment. So what we hope to achieve in this is to have, it could be anyone, a leader is born, people gravitate to them, we respect them, no problem. I would rather have my admiration for the man who laid the most blocks in the day than whatever prick they put out on the Late Late Show on Friday. So with this we create our own icons. To provide good quality chemical-free produce and meats, that goes without saying. The vast majority of food being eaten today is poison. It is absolute poison. It's actually hard enough to keep food good from what's being sprayed above head every day. So if you buy in the supermarket, there's nothing too super about it. Apples, you'd be familiar with the Pink Lady apples and stuff like that. They receive a very, very heavy chemical spray to keep them fresh. The vast majority of vegetables coming from Holland and coming from them places have received heavy, heavy spraying to keep it fresh. We want to show people how to grow their own food, how to save their own food. So a simple thing like potatoes, years ago they used to make a pit. Now you don't have to do that. You just put 4 pallets together, line the pallets with straw, put the spuds into it. It's good for the winter. It's no problem. It's not a big thing. Carrots. Put the carrots in the basket, layer of sand, layer of carrots, layer of sand again. You have carrots that will save for 9 or 10 months. So the idea is to grow enough and be able to save enough that you have a steady amount of food. Another thing is jam. Jam is simply fruit and sugar, pound for pound. That's all it is. It goes into a pot. You boil the sugar, you boil the fruit. All across this countryside is berries of all different descriptions, and the truth of the matter is they're not being picked. They're being left there for birds. I like the birds myself, but the birds will live. If you have a group of people, let's say 10 or 12, men or women, it doesn't matter, who go out and pick for the day, then we make a large batch of jam, you have it, you know, simple things like that. The other aspect of good food is you don't have to have it every day. Good food is improving your immune system just by having it. If you have spuds and vegetables from your own area a couple of times a week, it's your gut biome. You're building up your gut biome. So even if you're eating the crap a couple of times a week, you have defended yourself somewhat from it. So that's what we intend to do here. Now, part of that as well with the meats. We're not going to have meats that are receiving antibiotics or fluke doses or any of that. There's a book there in the house I was showing Martin and the lads last night. It's every herbal remedy under the sun for every animal. And so when we do a group chat out of this, I'll send you on the title of that book. That is mandatory reading. You need to read that. I was telling you the passage about the injection. You know, this fella, you're going back to 1930s. He outlines what an injection is. It is a sudden inducement of a chemical into the body. The body is not designed to consume anything through a needle. You have a mouth for a reason. You're meant to put the food in your mouth. You're meant to chew the food. Either then your body decides to accept it or reject it. If you inject something to yourself, you have not given your body the opportunity of rejection or accepting it. It's not healthy by its nature. So we'll be rearing meat, lamb, chicken, rabbit. We'll be rearing those meats. There'll be no antibiotics. There will be no doses. There will be no injections. It's going to be meat as meat is intended to be, which is grazing the ground, eating around the hedgerows. That's it. That's what they're meant to get. Then when it comes to grain, we'll be getting organic grain. If you take an ordinary farm growing grain in Ireland at the moment, GMO. Yeah, apart from GMO as well, they're using sprays to kill off everything else before you plant in it. Now I'll ask any of you here, if I says I want to grow something and the way I'm going to do it is by spraying a chemical that kills absolutely everything, and then I'm going to plant what I'm going to eat into that. That makes no sense. It's poison. That's all it is. There's no sense in us arguing with the conventional farming system. They're going to argue that point because that's how they produce. So what you do is you move away from it yourself. That's all you do. Everyone is on about organic at the moment. Organic comes with its limitations too. A guy in Brussels who's sitting behind the desk is the fellow who's doing the parameters of organic. What I'd be saying is we can do better than that. The other side of it too is if you have a chicken that's raised ahead of the organic time, why are you waiting to eat it? Where organic will tell you you have to wait another 2 weeks. What I'm saying is if we have it ready on time, then we decide when we eat it. That's the truth. Then to plant where we can perennial fruit, nut, bushes and trees. Every farm that we get, so if you go down to the front garden when we do the walk around you'll see it, that's fruit trees that my uncle planted when he took this place. Every year we go out now, we have enough apples to do whatever we want. It's a nice thing. Any there with kids or that, if you plant a tree, let it be a fruit tree, a nut tree, doesn't matter what it is, you have left something better. Do you know? And what I want is any of the farms we take on, that there will be apple trees, that there will be nut bushes, that there will be berry bushes, that in 20 to 30 years time we've left something better for the next ones coming after us. This could work, it mightn't work, but if we have a fruit bush there, some young fella's coming home from school and he nicks 3 or 4 apples, I'm quite happy. Fair play to him. Then to create and run courses nationally on all aspects of homesteading and personal preparedness. Each venue to be running different skills, archery, shooting, animal husbandry, fire lighting, how to make a campsite, all of those skills. Then I really want to, I hope the ladies get on board, cooking, jam making, all of these skills are being lost, and lost very quickly. Yeah. If you go back, and it's not too long ago, go back 30, 40 years, most of the farmers around here were well able to build their own house. It mightn't pass council accreditation now, but they were able to build their own house, they were able to farm the land, they didn't have a requirement for vegetables, they didn't have a requirement for meat, they were all okay. And now we're in a situation where most households, if the electricity goes off for a week, they're over. And it's a horrible line of thinking. I was in Ballina Saturday night. Every chipper in Ballina, it was 4 and 5 deep at the counters. And the reason for that is the vast majority of those people have an electric cooker, electric heating, electric light. It's absolutely fantastic while it works. The minute it doesn't work, they have absolutely no capacity to store their own food, they have no capacity to cook for themselves, they have no capacity to heat their own home. And if you're in a house with 3 or 4 kids, that should frighten the life out of you. It really should. That is a terrible situation to be in. So when it comes to preparedness, what we want to do is just tell people, you know, it's no harm having a solid fuel, fire or stove in the house for those times. It's no harm having the likes of a Jenny down there for those times. Everyone should be looking at the government now at the moment and saying, this is what they can provide when we've never been better off according to themselves. What will they provide if we're not well off? Absolutely nothing. So that's it. To re-establish the skills of hunting and fishing, that's it. We were shooting this morning, myself and the lads, just 22 rifles and that. You need to learn how to use a gun for your own benefit. If you're homesteading, you need pest control, rabbits, foxes, stuff like that. You need to learn to shoot. It's not a thing, I'm not calling for revolution, I'm just saying that at the end of this, every man needs to know how to point a 22 or a 3-4, pull the trigger and actually hit what he's pointing at. That's all that's to it. Fishing then, we'll have social days. We'll go to the piers, we'll go to lakes, we'll learn how to tie the knots, we'll learn what we're fishing for, we'll learn other methodologies. That's just going to be part of it. So to promote artists of all descriptions from the movement. There's fantastic musicians, painters, everything in this movement, and the movement thus far has given them nothing to work on, and that's wrong. We had a festival down there, and I didn't know what to say when a man called Hyans got up on the stage and started singing a song about me. I didn't know what to say. I never thought in my life that I used to love rebel songs when I was younger. I never once thought someone would get on a stage and do a rebel song about me. It was class, and we need to have more of that. And then one of the things that we're really pushing for is murals. So we'll have walls, different parts of the country, and take people from the movement who've done something positive and have them on the mural. And then go back through our history, to our Celtic times, 1798, all of that. Re-establish these icons, you know. At the moment, what the government is doing, and Annie can see this, is they're taking what they refer to as the New Irish and they're putting them out as music stars, all the rest of it. We need to say, no, hold on a second, you go with your New Irish, we're going to remember our Irish, and we're going to listen to their songs, and we're going to have their paintings on the wall. And just a cultural revival, that's all it is, you know. Them men stepped out in 1916 that we could meet today in a shed without fear. You know, that's the truth. If the English were still in charge of this country, we could not have a meeting like this. We might go on about how bad things is. It could be a lot worse if them men hadn't stepped up at the time. And the latest little thing we can do is remember them for the good men that they were. Right. Now, the premises hosts a gathering each season for the benefit and promotion of the group. We're aiming for Paddy's Day. I'll show you now when the rain dies down a little bit where we're going planting. I will have that ploughed and rotivated. We'll have the ridges made. We'll be planting the first seeds, Paddy's Day, here. Then there'll be a Midsummer's Festival where the first stuff that's grown in that garden, one of those pigs that's grunting over there will be going round in a circle like that. We'll have our own stuff to eat midsummer. And then autumn, harvest festival, everything will be harvest. We'll be getting the stuff out of the ground, we'll be getting it in the sheds, we'll be getting boxes out to each people that helped with it. And then Christmas, turkeys, geese, we want to have our own and have them all ready for Christmas, that each family can have a turkey or a goose that was raised chemical free. That's what we're aiming for. Now, this is the last. The pride is taken in everything we do, how we present ourselves, the food we produce, the premises, tools and facilities that we use. I want to welcome all of you to my firm. Each and every one of you. I'm really happy that you're here. I want you to treat it like it's your own. When you're working here, treat it like it's your own. If you see a bit of rubbish or something, pick it up. If you're given a drill, it's not a hammer. Do you know what I mean?
Respect the tools.
Respect the tools. That's all that's to it. It's a small thing, but it means a hell of a lot. If you think of men years ago when they were farming, an awful lot of them men had one set of working clothes and one set of clothes for going to mass on a Sunday. They kept that set of working clothes as good as their Sunday suit. They weren't covered in shit. They cleaned themselves down. They didn't rub themselves on the ground. They had respect for themselves. So whilst we're working, just have an air about you. You stand up straight. You throw your shoulders back. You're all Irish men and women. You all have something to be proud of. Act like it. You know, in everything you do, act like it. You know, we don't live in squalor on the sides of the road. They'd like us to, but we don't yet, thank God. So we need to present ourselves and behave like good Irish men and women. And then on the back side of this, right, the goals for this farm this year: host multiple farm skills courses, grow plentiful, good quality produce. I want to have a weekend here, gun management, basket making, animal husbandry, crop production, which crops you're planting, the seasons of them, all of that. We want to have multiple weekends throughout this year where people are shown basic homesteading again. Then produce good quality grass-fed meat. So that goes without saying. What I was saying earlier on, no antibiotics, no injections. We'll have meat that we're proud to stand by, that we know is not making people sick, that it's making them healthy. Post the 4 initial events to grow the movement. I've explained that: Paddy's Day, Midsummer's, Harvest, and then the Christmas. And then establish a positive movement image to be shown nationally and internationally. Believe it or not, there are a huge amount of people in America, Australia, Canada, all over the world who cannot understand what's going on in Ireland. They don't get it. But they have absolutely nothing thus far that they can support. That's the truth. If, fair play to the Says No groups, no problem at all. Fair play to the protest. But we as a collective have not got anything that they can support from Australia or Canada or America, these places. So this is hopefully what that is going to be. That they see a movement that they say, do you know something, I don't mind giving them a few pounds to get a wheelbarrow. I don't mind giving them a few pounds to make a chicken pen or that. We'll give them something that they can finally feel involved in things going forward. That's the events there. And then this is what we want to get done here before Paddy's Day. So plaster and paint the roadside wall for murals. I'll bring you over to see that. Have the mural painted for St. Patrick's Day gathering. That's down to the artist. We have to get the wall plastered to get the mural done. Construct composting area for the garden. I'll show you over there where that's going. And then plough, rotivate and ready beds for planting. That's the goals before Paddy's Day. I'll be truthful with you. I'll have that done anyways. I'm throwing me net out. I'm saying anyone who wants to get involved. I'll have that done. I'm looking for help at it. But it's like anything, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm doing it. So it is. But what I'm looking for is other people to come on board, other people to learn about block laying, other people to learn about plastering. Because I can get this one up and running. I want to see one in each province. I want to see one in each county. I am not going to be driving around 32 counties to see what's going on. I want the people here to establish the other ones and to bring them to their communities and be able to show their community how they operate. Now, what we will develop here over the next 2 to 3 months is a template. That's all it is. So we will have the mobile shelters for the chicken, mobile shelters for the rabbit, a garden. You will be shown how to plough it, how to rotivate it, how to make the drills and ridges. You'll be shown how to weed it, all of that. So then you can follow that template, bring it to your own area and get it moving forward. I consider myself a nationalist. I want to see a 32 county Ireland in my lifetime. I have made up my mind that I want to see that. But the way to deliver that is to have 32 counties working together for themselves. It's not by dictating, it's not by men in suits above in Dublin or Belfast or London or wherever it is telling them what to do. It's for people to do it themselves. That's all there's to it. So, with that, thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions or that?
No, pretty self-explanatory.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You say they are now about raising geese and turkeys for Christmas for everyone, right?
Yeah.
If a fellow was to take on that project, there's a lot of ration to go into those animals. How do you cover costs? How does that side of things work?
Well, what we'll do is we will set a price for the end product, and unlike what it is now where you go to the shop and you pay it, we will tell people well in advance what the end cost is, and then we'll be able to get the organic ration to fatten them from Gosling or Holt, and we'll be able to bring them forward. So I bought turkeys this year. They were 15 at Holt.
Next thing you know, we're driving slow, we're heading back to her room. Oh, we're heading back to Macroom, where the rivers flow and the locals know what she's been getting up to. Well, I woke up in the morning with nothing on but the radio. I looked to me left and looked to me right to realise I was on me own. There was lingerie and whips and chains thrown around the room. Oh God, says I, oh Jesus Christ, what happened in Macroom? Oh, we kissed underneath the moon. Next thing you know, we're driving slow, we're heading back to Macroom. Oh, what am I going to do with me wallet gone and me clothes back on? I suppose I'll write a tune.